Welcome back to another Thursday on the Pagan Perspective. I'm your Thursday host, Dieka, and this week our topic comes from our own Angelo, and we are talking about magic. So he writes, it's been in my observation that pagans/wiccans are big into magical practices. We talk about it a lot in our videos. So, the question or issue is, what was the motivating factor for you to follow a pagan path, magic or something else? Is magic a large focus of your path or an accessory? Additionally, why is magic often given such a large, significant role in the pagan and Wiccan practices? I find it very ahistorical that pagans in the ancient world were not all engaging in magic in the way we do today. In certain ancient times, ritual worship was more common than spellcasting. Later, in antiquity, magic rises to be more common, but not as common as it appears today. So let's tackle those, I guess, in reverse order. First off, we might be dealing with some semantics, but I wouldn't distinguish necessarily ritual worship from magic, and I don't have as much of a historical background that Angelo does, but I'm not sure that I really agree that ancient pagans were not necessarily practicing as much magic as we do today. And I think that has to do with what we look at as magic. I think that we practice, not just us as pagans, but everybody, most everybody practices magic quite often. And whether that is prayer for folks who identify as Christian, or whether it's the little, I'm trying to think of some examples. Like when I was in preschool, we before eating our lunch, we would hold hands and we'd sing a song about how grateful we were to have food and how it was going to be great and nourish us and do that. And I think that act was an act of magic. I think that there's, here's some other traditions in the part of the world that I'm from. And this, I think, came in through the crypto Jews, is that there'll be a little locket placed by the door, and people will touch that locket when they go in or out, and there's intentions written on that locket. Those are pieces of magic. A lot of folk traditions like scrying or things like little blessings. Another regional one from the part of the world that I'm from, people will put osha, which is a root, an herb that we have here. They will put it in the car when they're traveling to protect them, or if you have a child, they'll put it in the crib of the child, that sort of thing. I think that that's a big part of our lives, and those practices don't always get called magic. In modern paganism, we use that term and that framework to talk about those tools that we use, but they're not, I don't think that those are something exclusive to us, but something that we do is because we are aware of it and conscious of it, we do purposefully cultivate those tools, where some groups may not necessarily do that, but I don't think that means that they're not using it. Now, in terms of larger ritual worship, I would think that that would also be a form of magic. Why is it such a significant role in modern pagan and Wiccan practices? Again, I don't know the answer, but my guess there would be that it is something which is very empowering, um, and it is, you have to take some initiative, and it's something that's very self cultivating to do that. And I think that a lot of folks who are following a pagan or Wiccan path already have had to step out of what the societal norm is. And so there already is sort of a predisposition to that self empowerment, following what feels right to you to begin with. And then the starting question in this is the motivating factor for following our path, whether that was magic or something else. Now, for me, having been raised as a pagan or raised with this sort of framework, my motivation was that I was building upon structures which I had been given and raised with. Continuing with that kind of self-empowerment that I was talking about a moment ago, for me it fit with the way that I already saw the world. I didn't go and find a new framework with which to understand the world. I continued to build on one that I was raised with, and have continued to grow as a person and grow in my views and my understanding of the world. And magic, although not using that word from when I was little, the word that was usually used was tool. Here are some, here are some tools that we're going to teach you to help you deal with things in life, to help you deal with stress, to help you to cultivate the things in your life, to develop the skills that you want, that sort of thing. So it's been very important to me because, and in the way I was raised, in the way that I've continued to develop as an adult, because it allows me to better be who I want to be in the world. And so I think even if I didn't use the terms that I use to talk about myself, to think about myself, I would still use magic, even if I had chosen to follow a different, if I went, oh, let's put the brakes on this pagan thing and become a Christian or become a whatever. I think I would still be using magic. So I hear my little one waking up, so I'm gonna go help her. But I would love to hear in the comment section below what all of your takes are on this topic this week, and until next time.